I'm Daniel Ruth. I'm 98 years old, and I'm going to say something that will upset an entirely different group of people this time. Not Wall Street, not financial advisors, but the modern productivity and success industry. The industry that tells you to wake up earlier, grind harder, optimize everything, hustle constantly, and treat your entire life like a machine that needs to be tuned for maximum output. I've watched this idea spread like a disease over the last few decades. And I'm telling you plainly, most of what you've been told about productivity, success, and hard work is not just wrong. It's quietly destroying people. I didn't learn this from books. I learned it from watching lives play out over nearly a century. I've seen brilliant people burn out and disappear. I've seen average people quietly build extraordinary lives. I've seen men work themselves into early graves chasing goals they never stop to question. I've seen families sacrificed on the altar of ambition. And I've seen people reach the very top of their fields only to realize they climbed the wrong mountain. The modern success narrative is seductive because it sounds logical. It feels scientific. It's wrapped in metrics, routines, optimization frameworks, and motivational language. But beneath all of that polish is a dangerous lie. The lie is that more effort always leads to better outcomes. That if you just push harder, wake up earlier, work longer, sacrifice more, and squeeze every minute for productivity, success is inevitable. That's nonsense. And worse, it's harmful nonsense. Let me tell you how this myth took hold. In the last few decades, we've turned success into an industry. Books, podcasts, courses, coaching programs, masterminds, productivity apps, habit trackers, all promising the same thing. If you adopt the right system, you'll unlock your full potential. But notice something important. These systems never end. There's always another habit to install, another routine to optimize, another weakness to fix, another level to unlock. That's not accidental. An industry cannot survive by telling you that you're already doing enough. So it convinces you that rest is laziness, stillness is weakness, and satisfaction is complacency. When I was young, success looked very different. People worked hard, yes, but they also stopped. They had boundaries. They understood seasons of effort and seasons of rest. Work was a part of life, not a replacement for it. Now work has become an identity. People don't say what they enjoy anymore. They say what they do. And worse, what they're building, scaling, grinding toward. And here's the irony no one talks about. Constant productivity often produces worse results. I've seen this repeatedly. People who never stop thinking about work stop thinking clearly. People who never rest lose judgment. People who never disconnect make sloppy decisions and call it dedication. Fatigue masquerades as discipline. The human brain is not designed for endless optimization. It's designed for cycles, focus and release, tension and recovery. Ignore that long enough and the system breaks. Yet the productivity industry insists the problem is always you. You're not disciplined enough, not consistent enough, not optimized enough. That's a convenient narrative when you're selling solutions. Let me give you an example I've seen play out countless times. A young professional starts their career hungry and ambitious. That's healthy. They work hard, learn fast, say yes to opportunities. They advance quickly. People praise their drive. Then the goalposts move. Hard work becomes expected. Availability becomes mandatory. Boundaries become weaknesses. Saying no becomes lack of commitment. So they push harder. They wake up earlier. They stay up later. They sacrifice relationships. They postpone rest. They tell themselves it's temporary. Years pass. They're exhausted, anxious, disconnected from their own life, and strangely less effective than before. But instead of questioning the system, they blame themselves. So they buy another book, another course, another productivity tool. This is not growth. It's a treadmill. And here's what no one selling productivity wants to admit. Most meaningful success comes from subtraction, not addition. From knowing what to ignore. From knowing when to stop. From knowing when enough is enough. Some of the best decisions I ever made came from walking away, not pushing through. Walking away from deals that looked lucrative but felt wrong. Walking away from partnerships that drained energy. Walking away from opportunities that demanded too much of the wrong things. Those decisions didn't feel productive in the moment. They felt like hesitation, like restraint. They turned out to be wisdom. The success industry glorifies intensity, but ignores longevity. It celebrates sprints while pretending marathons don't exist. I've outlived most of my peers, not because I worked harder than everyone else, but because I understood pacing, because I didn't confuse motion with progress. Let me say something that will sound almost offensive in today's culture. Most people don't need to work harder. They need to work less and think better. Thinking requires space, perspective, distance. You don't get clarity by filling every moment with effort. You get it by stepping back long enough to see what actually matters. And here's the part that really makes people uncomfortable. Some people use productivity as a way to avoid their lives. They stay busy so they don't have to sit with unanswered questions. They chase goals so they don't have to ask whether those goals are theirs. They optimize routines so they don't have to confront emptiness. Busyness is a powerful anesthetic, but it wears off. I've sat with people at the end of their lives. I've heard regrets spoken plainly, without filters or branding. Not once did anyone say they wished they had answered more emails, attended more meetings, or optimized their mornings better. They talked about time, relationships, missed presence, lost curiosity. And here's the final truth. The success industry never mentions. Life is not a performance review. You are not here to maximize output. You are here to live with awareness, intention, and enough energy left to enjoy the result. Ambition is not the enemy. Mindless ambition is. Work is not the problem. Endless work without reflection is. Success is not evil. Success without meaning is empty. If you take one thing from this, let it be this. Slow down enough to choose your direction. Work hard on what actually matters. Rest without guilt. And don't let an industry built on selling urgency convince you that your worth depends on constant motion. I'm 98 years old. I've seen how this story ends. And I'm telling you now, before you find out the hard way, that the most dangerous myth of modern success is the idea that you can outrun yourself. You can't, but you can outgrow the lie. And once you understand that, you start seeing the damage everywhere. You see it in people who no longer know how to sit still without reaching for a screen. You see it in conversations that feel rushed, shallow, transactional. You see it in parents who are physically present but mentally elsewhere. You see it in professionals who have achieved everything they were told to want and feel strangely hollow when they get there. This didn't happen by accident. When a culture measures worth by output, people eventually turn themselves into machines. And machines don't ask whether the work is meaningful. They just keep running until something breaks. I've watched this shift accelerate with technology. Tools that were supposed to free us have chained us instead. Email removed boundaries. Smartphones erased silence. Metrics replaced judgment. Notifications replaced intuition. People used to finish work and go home. Now work follows them everywhere. Into dinners, into weekends, into vacations, into bed. And yet, productivity hasn't made people happier. It's made them more anxious. Because when there's no finish line, there's no satisfaction, only pressure. Let me tell you something that took me decades to learn. Effort does not scale linearly with results. The first hours of focused work often produce the majority of meaningful progress. After that, returns diminish rapidly. Beyond a certain point, more effort actually makes outcomes worse. Judgment degrades, creativity narrows, mistakes multiply. But the productivity culture refuses to acknowledge limits. It treats exhaustion as a badge of honor. It confuses suffering with virtue. That mindset doesn't build greatness. It builds burnout. The most effective people I've known were not the busiest. They were the clearest. They knew what mattered and ignored the rest without apology. They didn't chase every opportunity. They didn't attend every meeting. They didn't respond to everything immediately. They protected their attention like a scarce resource. Because it is. Attention is the real currency of life. Not time, not money, attention. Where you place it determines what kind of life you end up with. And here's the quiet tragedy. Many people give their best attention to things that won't remember them, won't love them, and won't matter in the end. They postpone life for a future that never arrives because the goalposts keep moving. First, it's the promotion. Then, it's the next level. Then, it's financial security. Then, it's legacy. And somewhere along the way, they forget to ask, what is all this for? I'm not telling you to abandon ambition. I'm telling you to interrogate it. Ask yourself, who benefits if I keep pushing like this? What am I afraid will happen if I slow down? What am I sacrificing that I can't get back? Because time is not renewable. Energy fades. Opportunities for connection close quietly, without announcements. At 98, I can tell you something with absolute certainty. You will not remember your busiest days. You will remember the days you were fully present. The walks, the conversations, the moments of clarity, the choices to stop chasing and start living deliberately. True success is not doing more. It's needing less validation, less noise, less urgency, less comparison, and more depth, more focus, more meaning. If this message made you uncomfortable, that's a good sign. It means something important is trying to surface. And if you want more conversations like this, conversations about money, time, work, meaning, and the lies modern culture quietly feeds us, then stay with me. Subscribe to this channel because these are the truths most people only realize when it's too late. You are not here to maximize output. You are here to live with awareness, intention, and enough energy left to enjoy the result. Ambition is not the enemy. Mindless ambition is. Work is not the problem. Endless work without reflection is. Success is not evil. Success without meaning is empty. If you take one thing from this, let it be this. Slow down enough to choose your direction. Work hard on what actually matters. Rest without guilt. And don't let an industry built on selling urgency convince you that your worth depends on constant motion. I'm 98 years old. I've seen how this story ends. And I'm telling you now, before you find out the hard way, that the most dangerous myth of modern success is the idea that you can outrun yourself. You can't, but you can outgrow the lie.